Hello, hello, my
Hey,
good morning. How are you?
I'm good. You?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk to you. I feel like it's so funny because like we talk every week, but I always feel like it's been so long because so much happens in that week that I want to talk to you about.
Yes. So much. And the night before, even.
Yes. I mean,
I
last
just
night you got Black Widow, and we're going to dive into that.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
a thing. And I watched it last night again, too, just to make sure I was completely fresh to chat with you.
Okay.
But yeah, we've got a lot of great stuff today. For those of you who this is your first time here, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are the Hollywood Critics Association Longbox, where we make that connection between comic book and movie or TV series. In one of the cases of something we're talking about today, it's more like just the book series to the movie, but we'll get into that later. My name is Tessa Smith. You can find me everywhere at Mama's Geeky, and this is my lovely co-host Joe.
Jonita L. Davis everywhere. And the Black Cape. So yeah. I'm excited. We have some, aside from Black Widow, I have a few rumors that I've been like tracking a little bit. And then we're gonna catch up finally on some CW shows. I mean, we had so much we started in June and had so much to catch up on. And then I'm thinking these shows are going on. So we got to get to them sometime. Mm-hmm. Mid-season. So we're like mid-season jumping in.
Yes. There's something real quick, just reminded me when you mentioned CW. I don't know why. We're going to start off with it. Joe I just got to bring this up. Did you watch Smallville?
Yes.
Okay. Me too. Loved it. My favorite Lex Luthor, by the way, is Michael Rosenbaum. Did you hear that they are doing a animated version and Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum are coming back to be the voices of Clark and Lex?
Yes. And yes. Excited. I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited ever since, and actually even more excited after seeing Tom Welling on Lucifer, with the gray, the whole zaddy Tom Welling. Yeah, that was a whole thing. But I loved Smallville. I loved it more than the current Superman and Lois, unfortunately. I'm sorry, don't shoot me. So I'm glad to see it's coming back animated.
Yes.
Like I wonder, are they going to do the original story again?
I think it's supposed to pick up right at the end, which is really interesting. Wow. And I just saw that Smallville is on Hulu, so I'm planning a rewatch because I watched it when it first came out. That was years ago, you know? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm going to watch it all over again. Maybe with my kids. I feel like my older one, too, especially. Like she's 10. She can handle it, I think. There's some good stuff in that show.
Yeah, she can. Man, I watched it so long ago that we were taping it.
I know. That's so crazy to think about, isn't it?
Yes. And if you don't know what those are, boys and girls, look up VHS. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My kids actually found one the other day, and they're like, "What is this? It's a box. It doesn't open." I'm like, "Just stop." My 7 and 5-year-old, you're making me old. Just stop. Just get it here. And yeah.
Well, like anyway. Even with DVR and stuff, I always say tape. Like we should tape that show, and then they'll be like tape. And I'm like, record. I don't know what's the word. It's tape. I don't know. That's what I've always said. It makes me feel so old.
It's still taped. They're young. They'll get it.
But yeah, that was totally off topic. For some reason, it popped into my head, and I thought, I gotta talk to you about it. So
that's on topic. It's on topic. It's current. Yeah, that's some important news. Do they have a release date or
I
a
don't
range?
think so. Not that I've seen. I need to dive more into it. But I just saw a tweet about it like last night, and I was like, oh, I need to remember this for tomorrow. And then I forgot until right when we went live, and I went, oh, I remember this thing I wanted to talk about. But it helped me spark. Like I searched where can you watch Smallville because I thought I need to rewatch it, and it's all on Hulu. The whole thing, the entire series is on Hulu. So, but I'm excited. Yeah. I gotta do a rewatch because it's been way too long.
It has been, and it's so good. It still should keep. I mean, I'm hoping that when I watch it, it's not like, oh yeah, that was a lot better.
I know. Now, did you just watch it once?
No, we watched it like over and over and over again, and even when it used to be our summer rewatch binge show. You know, I don't know if people have those, but every summer we have like a group of shows we watch over and over again. that was in it, and it just kind of fell out for me. But I think my son and my husband watch it. My older son.
I love Michael Rosenbaum's Lex Luthor in it. I just think he's so perfect in that show because he's like that cold, calculated, but then he's like, I don't know. He's like this Lex that I'm always a villain's girl anyway. Let's be honest here. But I just love him. I think he's my favorite Lex Luthor. So I'm just
no, it's Tom for me. Tom all the way. He's my favorite Superman. Don't kill me, people. I said what I said. He's my favorite Superman. So yeah, it's
a great show. It's like 10 seasons, I think. Isn't it like 10? It's like 10 seasons. Maybe even more. No, I bet it's 10.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And then that's when they were doing like 20 episodes a season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be one heck of a rewatch. You can start now and probably end in December.
Yeah, probably. So for all of you out there who haven't seen Smallville, definitely check it out. Clearly, we agree that it's a great show. It's a really great take on Superman. And I'm not a big, and I've said this before, when it comes to DC, I'm more of a Gotham girl, right? I'm more of the dark and gritty, but I love Smallville. So that shows how good the show is. Like that I really was into like Superman and Lex and oh my God, and Lana and this and it's so good. I could go on and on and on. But guys, check it out now so you'll be ready for the animated show.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. Hey, since we're starting with news, do you want to start with rumors?
Yeah, let's go for it. I know you've been dying to ask me about this.
Dying. Because so this is about the She-Hulk movie. And people around me are talking about it. And I know nothing about She-Hulk. And so I'm like, well, is that like Hulk's sister, or like how does that work?
You're close. You're close.
There's gonna be a movie.
Well, it's gonna be a show. It's actually a show. It's a Disney Plus show, so it's probably gonna be that same 6-hour format we've been seeing, whether it's 6 1-hour episodes or like Falcon and the Winter Soldier was 6 hours. Wasn't WandaVision 6 hours, but it was broken up into 9 episodes, so it was like a little weird. Yeah. So I'm sure it's going to be that same format.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Bummer. All right. So, okay. So in She-Hulk, there's going to be this character called Scar.
Okay. Is that 100% confirmed? Or it's like a
no, right? Not 100% confirmed, but the value of the comic has skyrocketed and is staying up there. So that's like, and my husband's a he's a collector, sells comics. So in his world, that means that all but confirms it.
Right.
But the value of the comic is like way up, and it's the Planet Hulk comics. Yes. If you have any, now's the time to sell.
I know I should take them out. I know I have some. Planet Hulk was always for me. Like I started reading it and I fell off it, and I think I kept collecting them, but never went back and finished it. Hulk's always been an iffy one for me in the comics. Love Hulk on screen. Hulk in the comics, I just kind of, but I know you want to talk about Hulk's son there. What I love about him.
Okay, so is it She-Hulk's son or Hulk's son?
So it's Hulk's
both
son.
Of their son.
Well, it's Hulk's son, right? So, but She-Hulk is Hulk's cousin. So what would that be? It's like, I don't know family relations. Is it technically a cousin?
Her nephew then?
No, because they're cousins. So they're not brother and sister. So I think it's like second cousin or cousin once removed, or it's one of those two.
It's their kid together?
No. It's Hulk's kid with like this girl. I think her name was like Ciara, something like that. I can't really pronounce it.
That's close. Yeah.
It's something like that.
There's a lot of vowels.
There's a lot. It is. Yes. And again, it's one I always just read the name versus like I never heard it spoken. So I don't know how to really fully pronounce it.
Kyra?
Maybe. That could be right.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. There's like 50 million a C and 50 million vowels and R and an A. So we're just gonna do that. But okay, so it's her son. Hulk is her cousin.
Hulk
is cousins.
She-Hulk is Hulk's cousin. So what happened is she got in a car accident, I think it was, and needed a blood transfusion. Bruce Banner her name is Jennifer Walters, and Bruce gives her a blood transfusion because they're cousins, so he matches for blood or whatever. Obviously his blood is partly gamma radiated, and that's why he can turn into the Hulk. So she ends up getting this blood transfusion from him, but she gets the powers of Hulk also. So then she's She-Hulk, and she's like crazy tall and big and green, and she's a lawyer.
Oh,
which is why I'm excited for her show, because she's a lawyer for like superheroes usually, right? Kind of like someone else you might know, Charlie Cox plays. I mean, you got Daredevil, right? Who's a lawyer. So I feel like this can bring Daredevil in.
It's going to bring them back. Daredevil back. And then Jessica Jones can come back. Yes. Okay.
That's my theory. I don't know. But the fact that she's a lawyer and she's always representing superheroes and she's doing that, it makes sense that she would at least cross paths with Daredevil. Like at least a cameo, right? Or something. And there'll also probably be cameos from lots of other superheroes because she's always representing superheroes.
Oh, that's cool. Yes. That's the way to bring everybody in, maybe.
I think so. I hope so.
So yeah, and then the son, she basically got, had a baby, and Scar is, so the thing I love about Scar is that this could go on for like an hour and a half, but one of my favorite storylines, I've told you a million times, Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion leads into the Dark Avengers, which is Norman Osborn replaces every member of the Avengers with a darker version of them. Hulk becomes replaced by his son Scar, which is crazy. And all these quote unquote villains, right? These Dark Avengers, they think they're being like redeemed. They think they're good, but they're not. Norman Osborn's just using them because Norman Osborn is crazy, and he's obviously like he's still the Green Goblin. He's nutsos. But I love Dark Avengers, and so I kind of wonder if maybe part of this comic book rising is that we're getting Secret Invasion. It stands to reason we'll get Dark Avengers at least on some level. That would be really cool if he got brought in a little bit in She-Hulk, and then that's a good introduction to him, and then maybe we'll get him in Dark Avengers. I don't know. That's me just hoping and wishing. Oh, I love this Dark Avengers idea. I love this. Okay. So let's do this. Oh, okay. So that's really good news then. Really, really good news. Okay. So the next piece of news comes from my end of the planet, the DC world. Madame Xanadu.
Yeah, I saw that.
Is getting a series on HBO Max.
I saw
y'all. Okay. So if you watch Swamp Thing, Madame Xanadu came up. She's this like mystic, psychic, but she's also got powers of magic, sorcery. She's one of the mages of DC, Justice League Dark, my favorite squad. She works often with Constantine and Zatanna, and Spectre, and all those are in her story. So her series will bring back Swamp Thing, maybe, because okay, so the Swamp Thing, they did like one season, and then there's like all kinds of behind the scenes drama, and so that was like it,
right? Because it actually did well, didn't it? But it
was amazing. It was amazing. It was like the best Swamp Thing I've seen in a live action ever, and the storyline was really good. And I really like that they had her, Madame Xanadu, there. She was a dark-skinned Black woman with natural hair. I have to point that out because in the comics, she's like really, really light-skinned, but she has an African name.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So anyway,
I'm glad they did her justice then.
Well, it sounds kind of African, but it's like supposed to be like a gypsy name, which I really don't like saying that term, but that's. But right, but anyway, so I really didn't I was kind of iffy about her storyline anyway. It's really good, but it's like that whole origin did sit well with me. Now, if what they've established, she's a Black woman, and that Swamp Thing and her are like besties, you know. So is this how we're gonna get our Zatanna in? Is this, you know, going to bring back Swamp Thing?
That would be awesome.
You know, and then the Spectre. I mean, like all of these characters are so amazing because they're like not good, they're not evil.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of do what is right for the moment.
Well, that's what I love gray area characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love that stuff. So
love them. So I mean, I don't know anything else except the fact that, you know, it was okay, and JJ Abrams is going to be doing it. And so I'm like, okay, so is this going to be like massive effects? All, you know, are we going to get some of her storylines where like stuff like blows, up?
Feels very JJ Abrams to me. So
yeah, I hope so. So I'm excited about it. But yeah, that was that rumor. I'm like, so I'm thinking like you, when, you know, with Scar and She-Hulk, I'm like thinking, okay, what characters could they bring in?
Yeah.
I
love that that's where our brains go, right? Because we're such comic book nerds that we're like, okay, wait, because there's this, even like a tiny small connection. You're like, they could bring this person in because they cross paths here and we could get them. And
there you go.
What they do. That's what they do. They take a tiny little thing from the comics, and this is our in to give you guys this person, you know?
Mm-hmm. And then, but and I love when they do it because they expand the world of that person, like they did with Falcon. Expand their world so much that, you know, okay, it's like, oh, okay, I see why this person is so important, you know. And I love when they do that to the side characters because, you know, sometimes the big guys are just too much.
Yeah, it's true. and people have too many, I don't know if this is the right term, but like preconceived notions about these people, you know, and then you bring in someone who's so obscure that it allows them to form their own opinions about them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? Yes.
Yes. Because with Madame Xanadu, she's like a part of Constantine's story, a part of Swamp Thing's story. And, you know, everybody's like still like, okay, we know that Constantine there's going to be another movie, or there's rumor of another movie. And everybody's like, Keanu has to do it. But then the current guy who is doing it for Legends of Tomorrow is so great. He's so great. He's so good at it. It's like, okay, so do we want to replace him because everybody sees him as Constantine as Matt Ryan? Yeah. It's like, what? So you have like warring sides, and it's like, but if they bring Madame Xanadu in, then maybe they can introduce a new Constantine.
They could.
A woman, maybe.
Oh,
there was talk of that. There's talk of that. That
would be cool.
So anyway, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about both things. Now I want to watch She-Hulk because I was not clear on what she was.
Yeah, I know. Well, it feels like, and I'm interested to see how they do it. I'm sure it's going to be, my guess is they'll start off with an accident or an explanation of her getting this blood transfusion from Bruce, right? Mark Ruffalo is confirmed to be in it. So I'm sure it'll be a very quick, she wakes up in the hospital. Hey, I gave you my blood, but by the way, it comes with this like crazy after effect. Enjoy, like, you know. I mean, I doubt he's going to be a major part. It's going to be his cameo is there to explain her blood transfusion, right? Explain why she's She-Hulk now.
That's it. Yeah,
that's my guess. Anyway, I can't imagine he's like a main. He could pop up in and out. I mean, they are cousins, so who knows? But I'm just excited to see her. I feel like there's so many opportunities for little cameos all over the place just because of her profession. So I'm excited. And I feel like Daredevil has to be in this. Like it would be a missed opportunity for them to not bring him back in this way because it's literally they have the same job.
And Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and their kid.
And then Squirrel Girl, because you know Squirrel Girl is the nanny in the comics of their kid.
Yes.
So that would be the perfect way to bring her in to the live action. I love Squirrel Girl.
I love Jessica Jones' whole arc after she becomes a mom. I love all those stories.
Me too.
Anyway, so yeah.
So Marvel,
we can go on and on and on about that.
I know. Marvel, this is the perfect way to bring all this in.
Yes.
Just
okay. Do you want to get to what people are probably wanting to hear? The Black Widow reaction?
Yes. So
Spoiler
if
free?
you guys missed it last week, I gave my initial thoughts on Black Widow. We can't get into anything too heavy right now, technically, because embargo doesn't break for another like 40 minutes. It doesn't break until noon, so we can't get into like the critical stuff. We can definitely talk spoilers and have like a full discussion next week, which could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Especially since we might have a little bit of differing opinions here. Joe, what did you think of Black Widow?
Okay, I'm currently getting dragged for it because I just put meh.
I feel like that's a fair reaction, to be honest with you, especially for a first time watch. But go on. What
Yeah, it was okay. It was a first time watch, and I watched it with my son, who's a teenager and who has turned into one of those fan bros overnight. One of those guys like, it's not like the comics. So I'm sitting there with him, and he's like, okay, so if this is like the comics, she needs to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, and then it doesn't happen the way he says it's happening. And he's like, what? And he's like freaking out. And I'm like, can you just watch it with me, please?
I know. See, so that's like, I know, I guarantee you I know what parts he's talking about. And we can talk about this next week to get really into stuff. But that's where me as a comic book fan, I like when they change things because I feel like I don't know what to expect and I'm surprised and personally. But I think I know there's some moments I'm sure I know exactly what he's talking about. Which I can see. There's one thing that absolutely made me very mad, and we can't talk about it until next week. And I'm still mad about it, even after 6 watches. So I'm positive that's something that drove him crazy. But we can talk about that next week. But
okay, I will get a list of all his grievances.
That sounds perfect.
And I'll bring them. But even around his, because I did not read the Black Widow comics. Even around that, I still was like, I felt like I wanted more. I mean, I wanted something else. I wanted something. I mean, yeah, they had fight scenes and those were cool. They blew stuff up. That was cool. But to me, the story didn't have enough to keep me invested. Like, I needed their story to be something better. I mean, and that villain was like not very. He was kind of weak to me. I mean, he wasn't. I mean, not strength wise, but just his development and his involvement. I don't know. I wanted somebody
really a villain. Like there's a villain, but it wasn't. There wasn't real. It was more a family story than a.
It was, but it looked like they tried to set up a villain and it just kind of fell flat.
I'm with you on that one because I'm a villains girl, so for me, I was like, really, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, and then when I saw the person that I thought was going to be the villain, it was not. That person was not there, like.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Now I'm curious your thoughts.
I'm just like, so it was just kind of I'm middle of the road. I'm like, if you're a Black Widow fan, like a fan of Black Widow, people will like seeing her.
Yeah.
Her family story fleshed out. If you are coming to this not knowing Black Widow comics, you're not gonna like it. I mean, you may be entertained. It's not gonna be a waste of your time because they do blow some spectacular stuff up. And some of the fights are pretty cool, but I mean, you're gonna just leave it like, man, maybe I should have watched Fast and Furious again.
The thing I love about it is the hand-to-hand combat. There's a lot of really good hand-to-hand combat. But I'm curious your thoughts because one of the things I immediately thought was this. I get why it had to get pushed, but it would have been so much better immediately following Endgame or Civil War, where it is set. And then I honestly think having groundbreaking, and that's the word I'm going to use, and I'll stick by it, things like WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, this should have come before that because it feels like a step backwards almost.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yes. And that was, I think that's part of my meh is WandaVision was like, wow.
Yeah.
And Falcon was like, oh my God. And then this is like, really?
I get why they had to move it, but it should have been placed where Kevin Feige knew what he was doing when he placed it where he placed it. And the fact that they had to move it, I think takes away from it a bit.
If this would have come first, I think I would have a better opinion of it. I have to say that, because I'm influenced. I mean, we're human. We're influenced by what we've seen before. And what we've seen before, I mean, this should have been a major escalation. It's not. It's a family story. And I think I would have appreciated better had I not seen Wanda's family story,
Well, yes. This is very much and Kevin Feige said it in the junket, so I can talk about it. But he said it is basically her legacy. It is to set up what is to come, which is Yelena. Let's be honest. She's very much a Black Widow. Natasha is very much a side character in this. It is here to set up Yelena, her future in the MCU. That is literally what this is for. It is a stepping stone. So that in itself, plus where it was placed, like you said, had it been before WandaVision, it would have been much better and worked out, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you agree with that.
Yeah. And I think people need to keep in mind when you go that Natasha is a side character in this. Yeah. This is not just, this is not like when we saw Wanda was, it's full on about Wanda. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. Because if I had not have heard you say that before, that would have been another one of my gripes.
You were prepared.
I was prepared. I was. Now will say that seeing the family story. I mean, Rachel Weisz as her mother was hilarious, and then the dynamic between the mom and dad.
That was so great, isn't it?
It's like. They're like two parents who are old and still okay, yeah, we gotta see each other because of the kids, but I don't like it. But maybe they really do like each other and that's why they fight so much. I like that little dynamic between them.
You're right, that's so good because he's so funny and she's such dry what she said in the interview, one thing she loves about her character is that her character is not funny at all. Her character is so serious, which is what makes her funny. And then David Harbour's character is just hilarious with one-liners and all these things. And so the two of them together, their dynamic is fantastic.
Right. And then you get Rachel as the mom and it's and she's just I'm not a nurturer. I mean, I didn't kill you. You didn't die though. Growing up, right? Right. So be glad. I fed you and clothed you and made sure nobody ran you over with a car. Be proud of that.
Right.
Mothering is just that and nothing more. That's what type of mother she has got, people. And she is so okay with it.
Oh yeah, 100%. She's this is my best. Sorry. Yeah,
I want to talk about one little dig that she did that I thought was the most epic burn, but I cannot because I think it's a spoiler.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it next week, though.
Yeah, it's I think if my husband and I ever got divorced, I think I might do the same thing.
I can't wait. All right, you got to tell me next week.
So yeah, but the family stuff, I love the family stuff. I love that her families, they're all criminals. Because that's what you expect, that they're all generally criminals, Iron Man would call them criminals. So, so it's okay, that goes. Even the sister is has the little sense of humor.
Yes, she's so good. Florence Pugh, she stole the show for me. I thought she was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Oh my gosh. I wanted to get a chance to talk to her again. I'm so upset that I didn't. I've interviewed her before and she was so fun.
Oh, I can see that. She seems like a real fun person.
She is. She's so fun. And she it was she has this comedic sense of humor that I don't think comes through on a lot of her serious parts. So I was glad to see it here. You've got Natasha being a straight, focus on the mission, her, and you got Elena over here you know, I like, you know, this outfit of mine. Don't you know you
Got a
want
lot
your
of
belly
pockets.
covered, and it's like, yeah, pockets, yeah. Going onto, and she goes on this tangent about pockets, and Natasha's like, "What are you doing? You like mission. What? You know?"
It's so great. It's so great. Oh, all right. We better cut this off because I feel like I'm about to start talking about spoilery stuff that I'm not supposed to. I can't wait to talk spoilery stuff with you next week because there's some major stuff that I need to get off my chest, and I can't until we can.
Yeah, and I'll bring the list of grievances from my kid.
I know. I can't wait to see those because I feel like next week won't even have been out yet. So we'll have to wait for spoilers till the next week because it comes out next Friday. Oh boy. All right.
Oh my gosh. So we're holding, are we going to be doing spoilers with the guest?
Well, maybe. Oh, that's right. We have some special guests coming up.
Yes, we have news for people.
I'm excited for that. We've got at least, we've got two people coming on together, and we've got at least one person, but another person we're just waiting to lock in a date on. So I'm excited for all this.
Yes. Do we want to tell them? I mean, or
should we tell them? Yeah, let's tell them. Why don't you go ahead with your one you solidified for us? I'm so excited for that.
Okay, so you guys know that Suicide Squad's coming out. And
I had no idea.
No idea. It's coming. I mean, it's coming in August. I promise you, it's coming in August. And then I heard that, you know, we're supposed to be getting a date for the Harley Quinn animated series later this year, coming back for another season. So I went ahead and talked to someone who said yes. We can talk to the artist behind, you know, one of the best Harley Quinn runs, Amanda Connor, and her husband, Jimmy Palmiotti, who is actually the mastermind behind a whole host of characters. I mean, I did not know that he helped create Luke Fox, Batwing.
I know. I didn't know that either until you just told me. That's crazy.
Yeah. So they're going to talk about that. They just revamped Red Sonja. Yeah. I don't know if you were a Red Sonja fan back in the 80s. They brought Jimmy and Amanda brought her back. Can't wait to talk about that. And then they've got he says they have a bunch of other projects that we can kind of peek into. But Amanda, I mean, I told them we'd love to get into, like, you know, conspiracies and conjectures and all kinds of stuff about Suicide Squad, and she's game for it. So yes.
Yes, good. I love it. I love it. Because you know I'm super excited for the Suicide Squad. Like, so excited for that. But something else I'm really excited for that we're going to have a special guest. If you guys haven't seen the movie Willy's Wonderland, first of all, you're missing out because it's crazy. And it stars Nicolas Cage. So, like, hello, it's super awesome. So there's going to be a prequel comic book to it with the prequel story. And we're actually going to talk to the screenwriter for the movie. And he's, Gio is his name. And he's going to talk to us about where this prequel could dive in and, like, the stories and all sorts of stuff. So I'm super excited about that. Have you seen Willy's Wonderland yet?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I want to know where this came from.
Yes.
What, I mean, did he have a nightmare? Or is he afraid of puppets? I mean, what? You'll have to watch Willy's Wonderland. It's on Hulu. It's wild. It's wild. I did not expect it. I mean,
if you ever thought like a Chuck E. Cheese people might come alive and kill you, that's what this is about, basically.
Maybe that's where it's from, because we all thought that rat, the Chuck E. Cheese rat, always looks suspect. I mean, just saying. So, I mean, it always looks sus. So but I did not expect Nicolas Cage to serious. I mean, this dude is dead serious fighting a puppet chicken. Oh, y'all, you have to watch this. He keeps his, I want to know how he kept a straight face.
He doesn't say puppets. One word. Did you notice that? He does not say one word the entire film. Not one.
I see. I didn't catch that, but I did catch that he said very little.
Yeah, I didn't realize zero, not one word. Because I actually did an interview with the director. It's on my channel, Mama's Geeky, if you guys want to check it out. And he said there was a plan for him to say a line at the very end, but they never found one that would work. So they just said, forget it. He's not going to say one word the entire film.
But you get everything that he feels in his face. Like at one point, there's like he scrubs this nasty, grungy bathroom, spotless, and then this big gorilla comes out and wants to like beat him up and trash the place. And you could tell that he's like angry and scared at the same time. Right. But more angry that I just cleaned this whole thing.
It's so great. Oh, it's such a good show. So I'm excited for a prequel comic. Like that feels the perfect way to have a prequel is a comic book because they can just go completely all out.
Right.
I am so excited for it.
Yeah. I mean, so we're gonna find out where this whole place originated and you know, okay, cool.
It's gonna be
exciting. Interesting. That's gonna be scary as hell though.
It's a comic that could possibly give me nightmares. Is possible. Yeah. But it'll be worth it. I'm excited for it.
Oh, I am excited. I'm excited too. And then we have a third person we haven't locked in yet that we will let you know as soon as we're locked in. But I think July is going to be great because those guests, I mean,
I know
it's going to be so fun. So fun. And we get them back to back, like one on the 20th and one on the 27th. So yeah, that'll be fun.
It will be. It's going to be a blast. Like, I'm so excited about it. And I love I love talking with you, but we've done interviews, you and I, with other people as well. And like, I feel like we play off each other really well. So I'm really excited to dive into it and dive into these conversations with people. So it's going to be a really fun time.
Yeah, really, really fun. There's a train going by.
But so do you want to talk Loki a little bit?
Yes.
So, or did you have anything else you wanted to talk about with the guests?
No, because I think I'll be giving too much away. I did have something else I wanted to say, but then I'm like, I don't want to give too much away. I want people to come and, you know, come with questions in the chat so that we can. Because
we're going to be live with them. It's not even a pre-recorded interview. We're going to be live with these people. So if you have questions, dump them in the chat and you guys will be able to talk to them as well, which is really exciting.
Yeah. They are really eager to come on here, you guys. So yeah. I know my son will be in the chat with questions for Jimmy about that. And maybe his friends. So, you know, if there's like a bunch of teenager-y type questions, I apologize. Okay, so no, I no, we can move on. We can talk Loki. Because I think something was semi-confirmed that I was thinking that the TVA is evil.
I feel like they got to be, right? I mean, they're lying so at the end of the episode or towards the end of the episode, Lady Loki there, Sylvie, whatever you want to call her, she says that all the TVA agents, which was, if you remember, totally my theory that I told you before episode 3, I was so excited. I was like, I'm right. I was right. They are variants. So they're not just created by the timekeepers. They're actually variants that were plucked from their reality and dumped into this job of being a TVA agent, which is crazy. And so, you know, Owen Wilson's character there, Mobius, has no idea. He thinks he was like created for this purpose. So all these people are brainwashed somehow. Like, what's going to happen when they find out that they're like they're taught to hate variants, right? And to hunt them down and literally just make them cease to exist. But they're variants. That's kind of like
a self-hatred storyline. A self-hatred. Oh my gosh, there's ramifications. Oh my gosh. So also, I think it's going to be traumatic because Sylvie accidentally found out about this as she was digging into the TVA agents' memories to get information. She's finding out there were buried in there were other memories, and it sounded like they were kind of, you know, protected. So unlocking them, and then after unlocking them, we saw what happened to the agent.
Oh, she was like
just rocking back and forth. Yeah. Yes. So I'm wondering once this comes out that they are all variants. Are we going to have a bunch of these, badass agents just rocking in place because they can't deal with it?
I don't know, because like think about like Renslayer too. Like she's amazing and I love her and she's so subtle but like badass and like strong and then we've also got Hunter. Whatever her number is, exactly.
15. Yeah, 15.
Yes, she like I can't imagine what the two of them are gonna feel. Like, I hope they don't snap. I feel like it's going to go one way or the other. They're going to snap or they're going to snap either way, right? They're going to snap and be like crazy badass. Let's go find the timekeepers and destroy them. Or they're going to be like rocking in a corner. I don't know.
It can go either way. I think this opens up a lot. And so Sylvie went from evil person in my book to, okay, Loki, you need to keep her close because she kind of knows what's going on. And she may not have the worst idea here.
I know. And I'm trying to figure out. So at the end of 3, they're stuck on this planet that's in an apocalypse. Obviously, we know they're going to get out. Well, first of all, we kind of assumed that anyway. I mean, there's still half the season left. They're not just going to die on this apocalypse. Well, they gave us that mid-season trailer yesterday, and you see them back at the TVA. With TVA agents, they're both like under arrest. Loki gives that lovely joke. I don't know if you caught it, that he said he feels like it was an insult because he had like 2 TVA agents and Sylvie had like 10. And he's like, I should have just as many as her. It's like classic Loki. But so obviously they're going to get back, whether Mobius ends up finding them and shows up and gets them back, or whether it was an illusion that thing was broken, which I could see Loki pretending it was broken, but they still were able to get off somehow. I don't know. But they're definitely going to get out. I mean, this isn't the end. They left us with a cliffhanger in true Marvel fashion. But tomorrow, I imagine we're going to see TVA agents show up. They'll end up back at the TVA. And I just am curious when Loki is going to tell Mobius. Like, is he going to just jump in and tell him right away? Or is he going to wait for the perfect time to do it? Knowing Loki, he's going to wait.
Well, and is Mobius going to even believe him?
Right. That's fair. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, because the way they're looking at him, they look at him as a joke. So he could probably stand up and shout it to everybody there, and they'll be like, "Okay, yeah, are you done? Are you done?"
Right.
Right. And so I think what I wonder is how the reveal is going to come about.
I know.
They've got to find out. How is that going to happen? Is Sylvie going to be like, "Oh, he's right," and this is why? And if you go find your agent, whatever, 15, 22, whatever, who's rocking in the corner still, you'll be able to, if that Walmart or whatever store is still up.
Roxo Mart or whatever.
Yeah. If it hasn't been destroyed by the meteor or whatever.
That one was like a hurricane.
Hurricane?
Is like the planet they're on now. I don't know. There's all these apocalypses.
Yeah. So... I don't know. I wonder what is going to be the thing that the catalyst and to me is going to start a whole new set of problems. So now the problem is not finding the variants that are messing with the timeline. The timeline is broken. That hair has all these split ends now.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. So that's done. What's going to be the thing that shifts them from finding variants to something else?
Right. They're going to have to go after the timekeepers at some point, I think, because they're going to be upset. The TVA agents are going to be like really upset that the timekeepers did this to them. I would imagine I would be upset.
Well, there's this picture floating around with the timekeepers in it.
The new poster.
Because I don't know if it's official, but
I saw it.
Yeah. So I'm just like, so they're coming. They're coming. They're going to be here.
I know. Now, did you see? Did you see that the WandaVision end credit was updated on Disney Plus after?
Oh
Loki?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So people are saying is that the multiverse is that Loki's impact on the multiverse, right? Is that, which I think is super, super smart of Marvel, whether it is actually tied in or just for fun. That was smart of them to do.
Listen, that's something that I would do, and I think the next thing they need to do is go back and tweak something in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
And I think they will
change his suit from like white to red. or something like that.
Just something little.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
something. So I think we need to keep watching. I think we need to watch, some of them are go back and watch the shows, or maybe keep an eye on the updates, because I think they're going to tweak something else next.
They definitely. I think next week
doing
it's Falcon and the Winter Soldier for sure. It's got to be, or this week technically, because the show is Loki's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that they're doing that. That's so smart.
Yeah.
So smart. It's sneaky. It's very Marvel, and I love it. I love that.
I love how thorough they are. I mean, to me, you're bringing everything into it. It's a full transmedia experience. Yeah. So I just really love it. I really, really love it. Loki is renewed for season 2.
Yes,
oh,
so Loki, before it came out, was rumored to be season 2. I think we talked about it during our interview with John Levine. I don't know that is it 100% confirmed now? From before it came out, there's going to be a season 2. And the writer for it is supposed to be actually the writer for Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie, which is really exciting. Shows his confidence that he has in this writer, that's who he pulled in for his apparently one Star Wars movie. I don't know if it's been 100% confirmed, but I know it's been out there for a very long time. I think Marvel has let it stew. I don't know that they've 100%. They might wait till the end of the season to confirm it. But I bet money on the fact that it is, because it's been rumored for so long. Yeah. And they haven't shut it down. And normally they would shut it down,
Yeah. I'm looking to see if there's I don't think there's not been any confirmation, but everybody says it is.
Yeah. That's basically what I've seen too.
Everybody says it will have another one, but we don't know. Yeah. So I can't wait to see what happens next.
I know. It's going to be good. It's going to be really, really good. That also means they're going to leave us with a cliffhanger, which is super annoying, but it's also true Marvel fashion. I wouldn't expect anything different, but I can still be annoyed about it.
Yeah, we can still complain.
Because that's what they like to do to us.
So in my house, we have this rift because my residential fan bros, they thought that the Loki episode was just kind of bland. And I'm like, there's a whole rocket that blows up at the end and you think it's bland.
Yeah. Okay. That was my husband too. And I'm like, this is a very much, yes, it's a character development episode, 100%. But there was a lot of action in there too. Like, come on.
There was. And a lot of reveals. I mean, if you watch the sequence where she's like, she's in the agent's mind and she's trying to have to figure out what's going on. And she's like, Sylvie is like freaking out about a little bit about what she's seeing. Yeah. And the changes that happen and how the agent just gets weird, Yeah. And I think it's when she's realizing, okay, this is not what I thought it was. I love the chemistry between her and Loki. So I think it showed a lot. And didn't we figure out that she's not really derived from him?
She's just another variant of his, because she talked about how she had the same, parents. She knew she was adopted. Her parents told her, so they kind of compared their background a little bit. But the majority was spent on they've left her enough in the dark, which I think is on purpose, but it's exciting. And I think we'll end up getting more. I mean, in the mid-season trailer, you see kid Lady Loki. She's younger, so I'm sure we're going to get her backstory there. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We have 10 minutes left. So I know I could talk to you for hours. So let's real quick, I just want to talk about Fear Street for like 2 seconds, and then we can finish it off with Legend of Tomorrow. So just what I want to say about Fear Street. I loved the books growing up. I read Goosebumps, and then when I got a little bit older, I read Fear Street. They're by R.L. Stein. I always loved that. It was to the point where I would read 1, maybe even 2 a day. Like I was flying through them. I love that kind of stuff. I think that's why I love horror. Just one of the main things. So this movie it is very much feels like Fear Street. It's definitely connected in those ways. It's not like one of the books and they made it into a movie. And this is going to be a trilogy too. So you get this one, this first one, I think it's 1996, which has got a killer 90s soundtrack, which had me so excited. 94. It's got, like I'm Only Happy When It Rains is one of the songs from Garbage. Like it's got that awesome where I just like, I feel like I'm back in the 90s. This is fantastic. But it's got very much like jump scares and this killer's coming after you. And it's very much R.L. Stine 90s type horror. And you think everything's going to wrap up. And of course, to be continued at the end. And it gives you okay, there's going to be more. So there's actually 3 in total. I think the next one's next week. I think all of them are, I think it's like 3 weeks in a row. It's going to be, I love that Netflix did this. Again, it's not literally taking a book and turning it into a movie, but it feels very much like a Fear Street book. Like it made sense to me, if that makes sense.
Yes. The script is an original story by Kyle Killian, one of the writers. So that's by all of the writers actually. So the writers got together and they wrote it's totally original. And the director actually. So they had to be readers. I mean, of it, yeah. And so I think it's the spirit of Fear Street.
It does.
But a new story, and which Fear Street you can add countless stories to the end of because it's just like that. Yeah, I was a Fear Street reader as well. And then even some of my books I had, my kids ended up reading them.
Yes.
And becoming, Fear Street readers. So yeah, I was really proud of that. I mean, they hated my Babysitter's Club books, but
Oh, that's funny because I read Babysitter's Club as well as Fear Street. So just polar opposites, by the way. Like not even that's so funny. But what I loved about Fear Street is I loved Goosebumps when I was younger, and Fear Street felt like a more mature Goosebumps. Very similar feel with these, like, obviously there's not like a ventriloquist dummy like there is in Goosebumps, but there's that subtle, like there's a ghost and there's this ghost story, and that's how, is this real? Is it just coincidences? What is it? And the movie very much has that feel. And I'm looking forward to the second part. Like I just finished it about 15 minutes before we came on here, and I was like, I can't wait for the next one. It was really good. Captured the spirit of it perfectly.
Yeah. I can't wait. I haven't dived into it. I was trying to soak in some Black Widow. And a couple other movies. So I can't wait to dive in and watch, because like I said, I was a Fear Street kid too. Teenager fish. And then, you go to Fear Street, and then your next step is it, so
it's true. That is the graduation, right?
It's a drug, it's a gateway drug. So the next one is supposed to be 1978. So I thought they were going to go forward. They're going backwards.
And they kind of hinted at it because like they were talking about stuff and they're like, just like the murder in 1978, just like the murder in 1966. So they're already hinting at these next movies that you're going to get, which is an exciting way to do it, is to go backwards. I'm here for it.
And then the third one is 1666.
1666. That's good. Oh, I know what that one's going to be then. I know what it's going to be from this one, and now I'm real excited.
Okay,
I was trying to not dive into it because I didn't know if anything would spoil this one. You know what I mean? Oh, this is exciting.
Okay, so you have to save your speculation for next time.
Yes,
we'll talk about it.
Yes, we will. I'm excited.
Yeah. So, really quick on Legends. This season has been really weird. There's aliens.
Oh, that's a fun.
And we're finding out. I don't know if this is the secret like you said, secret invasion was, but we're finding out that so many things were done by these freaking aliens, and it's like really
cool.
Screwing with me. And I'm gonna have to watch all the episodes again because I'm like, this can't be happening. We already found out that Sarah Lance, that her character's girlfriend is a clone. But now I think she was a clone made by an alien.
Oh, okay. So it's a double whammy. She's not just a clone.
She's a clone made by, I think she's a clone made by an alien.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. And Sarah has been captured by the aliens. We found out, was it last week or the week before, that she was actually cloned and has alien DNA. Her original body is dead. She was infected and was dying. And so, yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's like a lot. And so she was infected and dying. And so when this alien guy got her, he supposedly had a cure and led her on to believe that he had something to counteract what was killing her.
Okay.
But then he revealed, and the reveal was, I was shocked. I was like, whoa, because she's looking at her own body.
Oh.
Standing there looking, yeah. And he cloned her, and she has alien DNA. She has not. And so yesterday, and I'm just telling you from notes yesterday, I have not watched the entire.
Yeah.
So yesterday they have her back. She does not tell the team. She hasn't told the team.
Oh, well, maybe she's afraid they'll not respond.
Alien. Yeah, because they have to go through the timeline and collect all these aliens that are loose through that have messed up. Basically, they're split ends that they're dealing with over here.
Yeah.
So they have to collect the aliens, and is she one of them that they have to collect? Did the real Sarah die, or is this the real Sarah?
Oh, that would be crazy if they have to.
Yeah, she has all the memories, she has everything. And then Constantine is with Zara, and and then you have that going on, and that seems kind of weird because Zara, up until now, was a different person. The timelines, when the timelines
yes, listen, whenever you bring timelines in.
Yeah. So she went from being this very serious activist, revolutionary fighter person to this very shallow influencer.
That's fantastic.
Like a little dingy, but she's really a genius. Yeah. So Constantine's in love, and they go off together. But yeah, you've got all this stuff going on, and then the alien thing, and then yesterday they throw in somebody from Arrow.
Oh, that's huge.
And they also throw in a character that I love seeing, the Lone Ranger.
That's cool.
But he's not the Lone Ranger that we're so used to. He's the actual Lone Ranger. Bass Reeves, the black guy.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
I gotta watch this show.
John Diggle from Arrow.
Okay.
Is Bass Reeves, the Marshal, and they go back to the Old West. One of my gripes about
Old West.
Yes.
All right, you've got me sold on this show. I'm really gonna check it out.
There's a lot going on. It's like a supernatural supernatural sci-fi soap opera at this point. I feel like that I'm like explaining all my children to you. But they've gone back in the past, of course. But my gripe about them going back in the past is they don't address. They're really light on the social ramifications for their people. I mean, they when they have black people on their team, they don't address really the ramifications. They kind of gloss over it.
Really?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. It just or they skate by it,
Yeah. Like they don't give it the forefront that I got.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, such and such is going to stay on the ship or whatever. Even Zara being dark skinned, and Muslim, really and truly, they don't do much with that, which that would be big deal going back, in time in America. So, with them bringing in Bass Reeves and his storyline, I feel like they're actually going to start addressing it and be good.
I mean, okay. So what season is this? I'm trying because I feel like I need to. Oh, someone just said season 5. So is this season 5?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
oh, that's not too bad. Okay,
yeah.
That's not too bad then. I can. And we're at a mid-season break right now, or is it not a break?
No, it's season 6.
Oh, it's season 6. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, season 6.
These are like crazy seasons, though. Isn't there like 20 episodes or something each season?
Yeah, there's a lot. Yes, there's gonna be a little bit of a break, and I think the next one is coming. Episode 9 is coming July 11th. So you have a minute to get the first. There's been 8 episodes so far.
Okay.
So you can get up to Stressed Western. which is the name of yesterday's episode.
I
You
love
can get up there.
This just sounds
yeah.
banana pants crazy, and I love banana pants crazy. Like that's what this sounds like. You've got me excited about it.
I'm telling you, you have to watch this show. It's like the most underrated show. And yes, Trailer Gamer, Legends of the season 5 was good. The new episodes are craziness. Like at one point, the big bad villain is a huge purple teddy bear.
That right there, like I'm sold.
Yeah,
that's
so
all
I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, and yes, Constantine and Zara. And then you have Nate, who is the man that turns into steel. He used to date the old Zara.
Oh.
Now the new Zara is with Constantine.
Right. So how does this guy feel?
No F's about anything, and they're all over the place. Weird. And so you have Nate mourning.
Yeah.
It's just it's so good.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna dive into it at some point for
real. You have time. July 11th is when the next episode comes. And then hopefully we'll be able to kind of check in every so often to see how it's going. This is my most favorite CW show. So
awesome. I'm excited. All right. Well, with that, we are past our time, but thank you guys for joining us today. We talked about so much stuff, and I feel like I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours.
Yes.
I'm excited. Next week we've got more stuff, and like we were talking about earlier, we've got an insane amount of guests lined up for July. Like this is going to be so much fun. So thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week at 11 a.m. Eastern time right here on the Hollywood Critics Association YouTube channel per usual. But we are not the only show on here. Joe, why don't you tell them what else we got on here?
So you can come back and watch Pop Council on Mondays, hosted by Jamie Philbrick and Wendy Lee Zaney. Trending in Hollywood from Fridays, hosted by Scott Menzel and Dimitri Panos. What to Stream Thursdays, hosted by Morgan Rojas and Lupe Rodriguez-Haas. And Horrifically Horrifying, hosted by Heather Wixon and Kevin Taft.
I bet they talk about Fear Street this week too. So you might do. So if you're a Fear Street fan, you want to come back for that one.
Yeah, I bet you they lay it out. So
I bet they do. I'm gonna have to tune into that one just to see what they got to say about it. And then but thank you guys for joining us. This was so fun. And Joe, always great to chat with you about this stuff.
I know we can go on and on and on and on. So
I was looking at the time like, oh no. And technically, Black Widow review embargo has broken. So I have a video up on my channel. It was scheduled. I hope it dropped. I'm sure it did. And I know Joe will have her review coming very soon as well. So be sure to check those out.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Bye, guys. We'll see you next week.